Hello, I am your host, Ethan, and I am here to guide you into a deep, restorative sleep tonight. We journey far back through the quiet corridors of time, to the warm sands, golden temples, and starlit skies of ancient Egypt. But before we walk along the banks of the Nile, allow your body to rest completely. Let yourself settle into the surface beneath you, safe, comfortable, supported. There's nothing you need to do, nothing to solve, nothing to chase. Just listen and breathe. Bring your attention gently to the top of your head, your scalp. Imagine a soft warmth spreading there, like the first rays of sunrise touching the golden stones of an Egyptian temple. Let the muscles of your scalp relax, softening, unwinding. Now allow that calm to drift slowly down to your forehead. Feel the skin there smoothing, as calm and still as the quiet waters of the Nile at dawn. Your eyebrows loosen. Your eyes begin to grow comfortably heavy. Let your eyelids rest softly now, the tiny muscles around your eyes releasing their effort. Your eyes sinking peacefully into their natural resting place. Now relax your cheeks, your temples, and your jaw. Allow your jaw to gently release, your teeth slightly apart, no clenching, no tension, only calm stillness. Now feel that gentle wave of relaxation flowing into your throat, your neck muscles softening, your head resting easily, balanced and calm. Bring your awareness now to your lungs, to the quiet rhythm of your breath. We will take 3 slow breaths together. Breathe in slowly through the nose, filling the lungs with cool, calm air, and breathe out gently, letting your shoulders drop deeper into relaxation. Again, breathe in slowly, allowing your chest to expand with ease. And breathe out, releasing any remaining tension. One more breath, in slowly and out. Let your chest grow soft and peaceful. Now feel the calm drifting downward into your stomach, your abdomen relaxing, like warm desert sand settling after the wind has passed. Your belly rises gently with each breath and falls again, slow, effortless calm. Now allow that calm to move into your hips, your thighs, your knees. Your legs grow pleasantly heavy, supported completely beneath you. Your calves soften, your ankles relax, your feet rest quietly, even your toes loosen, still comfortable, calm. Your whole body now rests deeply, from the scalp to the eyes, to the lungs, to the stomach, all the way down to your feet. Each breath slower, steadier, more peaceful. And now, as your body sleeps, your mind begins to travel gently through time, across thousands of years, to the warm and ancient land of Egypt. Imagine a quiet evening along the banks of the Nile River. The air is warm, carrying the scent of river water, palm trees, and distant desert sand. The sky above is vast and deep, filled with brilliant stars. In ancient Egypt, these stars were believed to be the lanterns of the gods. They shimmer quietly above the pyramids and temples that rise from the desert floor. The Nile flows slowly through the land, a ribbon of life winding through golden sands. Its waters reflect the moonlight like polished silver. Palm trees sway gently along the riverbanks, and small fishing boats drift quietly upon the water. Not far from the river stands a great temple city called Wazit, known today as Thebes. Tall columns carved with ancient symbols rise toward the night sky. Massive statues guard the temple gates. Oil lamps glow softly along the stone pathways. Priests move quietly through the courtyards, whispering prayers to the gods. Near the outer gardens of this temple lives an old Egyptian teacher named Senema. He is not a warrior, not a king, not a priest of high rank. Yet travelers come from distant villages to hear his stories, because Senema is known for teaching one powerful virtue: courage. He teaches that courage is not loud like the roar of a lion. Instead, it is quiet, like the steady flow of the Nile, calm, patient, enduring. Tonight, you walk slowly along the temple pathway towards Senenmut's garden. The stone beneath your sandals is warm from the day's sun. Tall papyrus plants sway gently in the river breeze. Torches flicker along the garden walls, their golden light dancing across carved hieroglyphs. At the center of the garden sits Senenmut, beneath a large date palm tree. A small clay lamp glows beside him. Scrolls lie neatly arranged on a low wooden table. He looks up as you approach, his face calm, wise, ancient with years of quiet thought. He smiles gently. "Welcome, traveler," he says softly. "You have arrived at the hour when the desert grows quiet and the heart becomes ready to hear truth." You sit beside him upon a smooth stone bench. The Nile flows softly beyond the garden walls. The warm night breeze carries the distant sound of water touching the shore. Senenmut gazes toward the river, then back toward the stars above Egypt. And in a steady, whisper-soft voice, he says, "Tonight, I will tell you a story about courage. The kind of courage that grows quietly inside the heart." The lamp flickers gently beneath the palm leaves. The Nile continues its slow, eternal flow, and beneath the ancient Egyptian stars, the story begins. The small clay lamp flickers softly beneath the wide leaves of the date palm, its warm golden light resting gently across the quiet garden stones. Senenmut sits calmly beside the low wooden table, his hands folded loosely, his eyes reflecting the ancient Egyptian night. Beyond the garden walls, the Nile moves slowly through the darkness, its waters whispering against the reeds, steady and calm. For a moment, the teacher says nothing. The warm desert breeze moves through the papyrus plants, carrying the soft scent of river water, sand, and distant lotus flowers. Then Senenmut begins a story. "Many years ago," he says quietly, "when I was still a young student, I traveled far south along the Nile." His voice is slow, steady, like the river itself. You imagine the journey beginning to unfold. A small wooden boat gliding down the wide Nile River, tall green reeds swaying along the riverbanks, white ibises standing silently in the shallow waters. Above, the Egyptian sun shining bright across endless desert sands. "I was traveling to a distant place," Senenmut continues softly, "a place where massive stones were being raised toward the sky, a place where men and women worked together to build something meant to last for thousands of years." You see it in your mind now, a vast construction site beneath the blazing Egyptian sun. Great blocks of limestone resting in long rows, workers pulling sledges across smooth sand, architects studying careful measurements drawn onto papyrus scrolls. The place was called Ipit Sut, Senenmut says, which you may know today as Karnak. The teacher pauses as the night breeze rustles the palm leaves. "When I arrived, I expected to see only strength and power, but instead, I saw something far more interesting." The lamp flame trembles gently. "I saw a young stone worker named Hori. Hori was smaller than many of the other laborers. His hands were rough from work, his shoulders thin from long days beneath the sun. You picture the young worker standing among the enormous blocks of limestone, dust drifting through warm sunlight, the distant sound of chisels tapping against stone. But Hori had something that many others did not," Senenmut says quietly. "He had courage." The Nile wind moves softly through the garden again. One day, a massive stone block needed to be moved across the workyard. It was larger than most the workers had handled before, and many men hesitated. You imagine the scene clearly now. The giant stone resting upon a wooden sledge, thick ropes tied across its front. Dozens of workers standing nearby, uncertain. The overseer shouted for volunteers. Sennamat continues. But the stone seemed too heavy, too dangerous, too difficult. The quiet garden grows still. That is when Hori stepped forward. Sennamat's voice becomes softer. He did not shout. He did not boast. He simply walked calmly to the rope. The teacher looks toward the flowing Nile beyond the garden. The other workers watched him, and slowly, one by one, they joined him. 10 men became 20. 20 became 40. The rope tightened across the sand. The wooden sledge creaked softly beneath the enormous stone. Hori spoke only one sentence. Sennamat says gently. He said, "Courage begins with the first step." You imagine the workers leaning forward together, feet pressing into the sand, muscles tightening, breathing steady. The stone moved only a small distance at first, just a few grains of sand shifting beneath. The teacher pauses, but that was enough. The lamp glows warmly beside him. With each slow step, the stone moved farther. The workers pulled together. The rope stretched tight. Soon, the impossible stone began sliding steadily across the ground. The desert sun burned high above the temple site. Sweat ran down the workers' arms. Dust filled the warm air. But they did not stop, not because they were strong, but because courage had already begun moving the stone. Sennamat looks up toward the brilliant stars above Egypt. That day, I learned something important. Courage does not mean fear disappears. It means stepping forward even when fear remains. The Nile water continues its quiet journey in the distance. Hori did not become a famous general. He did not become a pharaoh. But the stone he helped move became part of a temple that still stands thousands of years later. The teacher folds his hands gently. And sometimes the quietest courage creates the longest lasting things. The warm Egyptian night settles deeper around the garden. The palm leaves sway slowly in the desert breeze. The clay lamp burns softly beneath the ancient stars. And the lesson of courage continues to unfold beside the eternal Nile. The clay lamp glows softly beneath the wide leaves of the date palm, its golden light resting gently across the quiet stones of the garden. Sennamat sits calmly beside you, the Nile whispering in the distance beyond the garden wall. For a long moment, neither of you speak. The warm desert breeze moves slowly through the papyrus plants, carrying the scent of river water, warm sand, and distant lotus flowers opening beneath the night sky. The stars above Egypt shine with quiet brilliance. To the ancient Egyptians, these stars were the eternal fires of the gods, guiding travelers across the desert and across the river. At last, Sennamat breathes in slowly and continues his story. Hori remained a stone worker for many years, he says gently. Each morning he walked to the temple grounds before the sun had fully risen. The air was cool, the sand still calm beneath the soft light of dawn. You imagine the quiet mornings along the Nile, workers gathering slowly as the first sunlight touches the temple walls. White birds gliding above the river, the distant sound of water lifting against wooden boats. Hori never became the strongest worker, Sennamat says, nor the fastest. But each day he returned. The teacher's voice becomes slower now, steady gone. He returned when the work was difficult. He returned when the sun burned fiercely across the desert sky. He returned when others chose to rest. The palm leaves rustled gently above. And over the years, the workers began to notice something. When challenges appeared, Hori did not step back. He stepped forward. The lamp flickers softly, not loudly, not with pride, but quietly, steadily, with courage. Sennamat looks toward the slow waters of the Nile. One evening, many years later, I returned to Karnak. The temple had grown vast. Tall columns carved with sacred symbols stretched toward the sky. Great statues stood watch across the courtyards. You picture the enormous temple glowing beneath the Egyptian sunset. Massive stone walls painted with scenes of gods, pharaohs, and ancient victories. I searched for Hori among the workers, Senenmut continues, and I found him sitting beside one of the great pillars he had helped raise. The teacher smiles faintly. He was older now, his hair touched with gray, but his eyes were calm. I asked him if he remembered the day. He stepped forward to move the great stone. The quiet garden holds the memory of that moment. Hori laughed softly. Senenmut says, he told me something very simple. Senenmut's voice becomes almost a whisper. He said, I was afraid that day. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to move the stone anyway. The words drift gently through the warm night air. The Nile continues its endless journey beyond the garden. The teacher folds his hands calmly. Courage, he says quietly, is like the Nile itself. It moves forward day after day. It does not rush. It does not stop, but slowly, patiently, it shapes the land around it. The stars above Egypt shine peacefully, and the temples built beside this river have stood for thousands of years, because ordinary people chose to take one brave step at a time. The clay lamp glows softer now. Senenmut looks toward the sky one final time. Tonight, you have heard the story of Hori, a quiet man, a simple worker, and a reminder that courage lives in the smallest actions. Silence begins to settle across the garden. The palm leaves move slowly in the warm desert breeze. The Nile flows gently beneath the moonlight, water touching reeds, reeds whispering back to the river. The clay lamp flickers softly beside the stone bench. The temple city sleeps peacefully in the distance. The desert air grows calm and still. Your breath becomes slower, deeper, peaceful. The ancient stars continue shining above Egypt. The river moves quietly through the night. Everything grows calm. Everything grows quiet. The story fades gently into the stillness of the desert night.